You don't actually have to learn to love yourself. You already do by default. The only thing is it might be getting cluttered up by the idea that you have of yourself. Your self-image is what can damage your self-love. Not loving yourself is often a result of not liking who you are as a person. Maybe you're anxious. Maybe you bite your nails. Maybe you have some other weird quirks, or maybe you're just not happy in your life. And loving yourself, despite of all of this, is really, really tough. It can be almost impossible. In fact, many people go all the way to suicide, or they use antidepressants or some other substance to try to escape. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can actually solve it. You can actually come to love yourself again. But it starts with acceptance. The first thing that people try to do when they don't feel happy about themselves or their life or who they are is to try to make changes. Make changes, make changes, make changes. Become the person that I want to be. Make all the money. Finally, get the perfect relationship going. Get into good shape. Hit the gym. Eat the perfect food. Yet, they achieve perfection in all areas, still end up miserable. Big mistake. If you don't start with self-acceptance, you're going to end up with problems down the line. Because no matter how much you achieve, and no matter how much you grow, and no matter how many accomplishments go under your belt, you still sit there feeling miserable because you never accepted who you were when you started. And that little part of you will always nag in the back of your head telling you, you're still that old piece of from before. You're still that same old person, except now you've got all of this. Because you never came to terms with who you were. So right now, accept whatever you don't like about yourself. And here's how you can do that. Realize that everybody has weaknesses. Yet the people that rise to the top in our society, whether through kicking a football or through building massive businesses or through being an investor or a musician, whatever it might be, it always comes down to focusing on their strengths. And everybody has them. You have some strengths. Maybe you're an introvert, maybe you're an extrovert. Maybe you're great with the computer. Maybe you know how to make amazing animations. Or maybe you can draw, maybe you can sing. And if you capitalize on that, you'll do really well. Yet what most people do, and what stops them from loving themselves, is they focus on their weaknesses. So if I'm no good at making videos, I shouldn't be in front of the camera. I can get somebody else to do that if, for example, I'm a really great business person. And I think in terms of structure, and I think in terms of creating a company. Now maybe I'm good at both, then I could do both. But if there's something that you're weak at, don't do it. Unless you really want to cultivate and develop a skill and you're passionate about it, why not focus on your strengths? It's much easier to love yourself when you cut yourself some slack and say, hey, I'm pretty good at this. Developing your strengths is a lot more powerful and rewarding and enjoyable as a process than trying to get a little bit better at your weaknesses. See, I can fluently speak 3 languages, but I also know a few more. The 3 I speak fluently are English, Russian, and Norwegian. If I have a conversation with somebody in any of those 3, it's very rewarding. It's very full. It's a great experience for me and for the other person. However, I know a little bit of Swedish and some Danish, and I can kind of understand a little bit of Sami even. Well, if I try to have a conversation in those languages, it's going to be off. It's not going to be that great. And it's not going to be as fun because I haven't mastered them. When you do the things that you're already pretty good at, you actually enjoy yourself a lot more because you already feel confident, you already feel good as you're doing it. And as your skill continues to develop and grow, it's a lot easier. So that's why once you've accepted yourself and you've said, hey, it's okay that I have these weaknesses, it's okay that I have these strengths too, you can make a decision to work on the strengths. Make a decision to say, hey, the best way for me to develop as a person is to get better at the things that I'm already pretty good at. Because chances are you enjoy those things, you like those things, you enjoy doing them, you like spending time with other people that are into the same type of stuff, and it's effortless and natural for you. So instead of trying to force yourself down a path that you don't want to go, why not just embrace who you are? And that's the key here. Self-love has to do with acceptance and embracing. Knowing yourself is important. But a lot of the time we have this expectation of who we should be, instead of actually being happy with who we are. I know that maybe there's a stereotype in pop culture or mainstream media right now that you should look a certain way, that you should be good at certain things. And it's very tempting to kind of get drawn into that and buy into that reality. But I encourage you to develop your own idea about who you want to be. See, once you've accepted, you can work on your strengths. Now you can get really good at things that you enjoy doing. And now finally, thirdly, what I would tell you to do, my best advice to you if you want to love yourself, you can actually take that idea of who you want to be and make it a reality. What kind of character do you want? And base this around who you want to be, not who everybody else is telling you to be, but who you want to be. I knew that for me, I wanted to be a confident speaker. I wanted to be able to communicate with the camera and with coaching clients and on stage, and that I could stand here and talk to people from all over the world through this little thing. That was just an idea. And I thought, I would talk like this and I would have this energy. I'm that right now. That idea from 3 years ago is me today. It can be real. Whatever image you have of yourself that you would like to become, cultivate that, develop that. That's one of the most rewarding things in life. And that's the biggest reason to make $1 million or become a famous rock star. Not because you get to be the famous rock star, but because of the person that it makes you along the way. The kind of character that you have to build, the skills that you have to improve, the refining that you have to do to your craft is a beautiful process. And if you put your attention on this, your life is going to have so much more glow in it, spark in it. And you'll get that light back in the eye, in the pupil, where you're excited to do what you're trying to do, instead of dreading, instead of feeling bad, because you're always picked on, because you're always picking on yourself and being your own biggest critic. Now you're becoming your own biggest fan, because guess what? You're becoming the person that you want to be. And nothing gives you a deeper sense of self-love than first accepting yourself, then working on your strengths, and finally becoming the ultimate person that you want to be.